This is September 13th on Pedal to the Metal podcast. This is Chadwick speaking with American Mech. This is on the other end of the line here. Hello, American Mech. How are you today?
Man, I'm doing excellent.
Perfect.
Feeling good vibes today.
Me too, man. This is our 10th podcast, so I'm feeling extra good vibes today because I just launched a business today, and it's our 10th podcast today. Two big milestones reached today for myself and my life. So this is our 10th podcast, and I was thinking, like, for this podcast, we could kind of sum up all 10 of our podcasts that we've done so far into this one. Just talk about what we've talked about already, basically once more, in kind of in a sum up way of all of our 10 podcasts. Can we sum up all 10 of our podcasts right now? Can you kind of, this is my question for you. My question for you is, can you sum up for our audience all 10 of our podcasts that we've done so far?
Yeah, I can do that. All right, so basically for the first one, we kind of were thinking about like our future dreams on what we kind of wanted to do, and now it kind of seems like we're building up to our future dreams. Chad wanted to start up his own business about like drawing like all of his art and whatnot. He already had like a couple of designs that he wanted to do and all that, and then I wanted to do like a food truck, and I finally started to work, and I'm starting to save up for my food truck and everything. We just like talking about random stuff, to be quite honest. Random drawings and about business. I think that's about sums it.
Yeah, I was giving you some extra airtime there to see if you had anything else to add in. So yeah, I launched my business today. Is the other so I just want to jump into that right off the bat, which is, so I launched visitor751.com, and that is today on September 13th, and my business is all about so visitor751.com. Just to explain it really quickly, what it is a place where people can go and they can purchase products with gold standard designs. I'm selling designs. I am a design selling business. That's what my business is a design selling business. Some people think it's a product business, whereas it's actually a design selling business. Just to make that clear with everybody. And what I sell designs of are these alien character cartoons that were made by Mike Mitchell out in Austin, Texas. He is a contemporary artist, meaning that he is still alive and he's still creating art today. He's got a ton of different things going on in his own life, it seems like, from what I've learned about him. I don't know him personally. I've never met the person, Mike Mitchell, who created this artwork that I'm selling. However, I have commercial and creative rights to all of his alien cartoon characters that he kind of put effort into designing and using a generative program to create, and using his art that I think his art is fabulous, and that's what inspired me to start this business, Visitor 751, and create visitor751.com, because just looking at it, it just inspires me. Just looking at the aliens and everything, it's something that I would want to buy, and that I am buying. I'm buying my own products from my store. So how my business works is that it's called a print on demand business, and I use different people or different companies around the world, mainly in the USA. For example, I use for my rugs, which is my main product at the moment, is the rugs. I'm a design business selling designs, and I have rugs for sale on my design within my design business, and those rugs are created by this business called MWW, based out in North Carolina, and they've existed in business for around 100 years. And what they do for my business, and what I'm doing with Visitor 751 as a business, is they provide me with a service of taking my product, which is my design, my design being the alien cartoons that Mike Mitchell, the artist, made out in Austin, Texas. So they take the MWW On Demand, a business that was created around 100 years ago in the US, takes my designs and prints them onto their product with their printing devices, and their coloring goes into their printer, and they print them onto these products, which is they all kinds of products. The main product that I'm kind of selling, and my main selling point is being rugs. Is they print my design of my choice, being my business, and my choice is these alien cartoons by Mike Mitchell. They print them onto their rugs and they send them out to my customers who purchase the design from me. They print out the rug and they send them to them, and they take care of everything: the printing, the product, and the shipping for me. All three things. All I have to do is sell. What I'm talking about is the design, the gold standard design. My business is called Visitors 751, and our business is going to be all about the gold standard design. And then on top of that, I also have a business with American Mech that's coming soon. It's like two businesses. It's this whole idea of print on demand. It's really exciting to me because I can open multiple businesses very fast. It only took me about a week to open up the last business, which I spend a lot of time on it, and I'm taking up a lot of airtime off of Mech here. Thank you for listening, Mech. I appreciate
No,
it.
you're fine. I actually like to hear
yeah,
that.
but
Honestly, I still remember you saying you put a couple of my drawings
yeah,
on your actual site, which I like that.
I'm super excited because I think that we're gonna have our own site. It's called pedaltothemetal.io. It's pedal to the metal. Metal being is in like metal award, MEDAL. So pedaltothemetal.io is going to be me and American Mech's website. I've learned so much from building this company that I just launched today, and I've learned so much from building it that now I can take that knowledge and I can put it over to this awesome thing that I have going with American Mech here on this podcast. And we're going to have our own website with American Mech designs and a combination of his artwork with my kind of touch added onto it. And I'm going to do a lot of the stuff in terms of building the website and editing the design and and also editing American Mech's designs onto our products that we're going to be selling on pedaltothemetal.io as well. We're going to do all kinds of things. We've got this podcast going. We're going to be selling products soon, and we're also going to be putting out video, we're putting out audio, we're putting out visuals of everything that we're doing. Go for it, Mac. Can you say some words? Because I've been speaking for way too long in this. And
I got you. And guys, when he means by like any my kind of like my designs, he's not really like new in like any of my drawings I'm gonna be doing. He's just gonna be like changing the color up like in the middle of the picture, and he might add like a little backdrop on the outside or whatever, some kind of cool things like that. And honestly, I think her designs are be kind of cool because I liked his designs that he was showing me the other day with like dragons and everything. Honestly, I think that he should post some of his art too on that. What do you think about that, Chad?
Well, what I think is that, so I sent Mech some photos of some dragons. Right now, both me and American Mech, we just created accounts on Truth Social, which is a new social media platform that Trump created. 45th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, created this website called Truth Social. And I found this artist on Truth Social, and she's out there. I forget her name off the top of my head. I wish I could mention it for everybody listening, but she creates dragon cartoons, or not cartoons. She creates dragon drawings, and she puts out these drawings on a consistent basis of these amazing, beautiful dragons. And I found her on Truth Social by just putting a hashtag dragons on one of my posts, and I clicked on it because I was wondering who else used hashtag dragons, and I found this professional artist, woman out there in America, in the United States of America, who is on Truth Social, and she's creating these wonderful pieces of art that I shared with American Mech, and we all know American Mech loves dragons at this point, and on the 10th podcast by now, hopefully. If you've been listening to
still my favorite mythical creature out there.
Yeah, if you've been listening to our podcast, American Mech is all about dragons. So I shared this person. Once I found her and her art, I shared some of her art with American Mech. American Mech was saying that it was my art. I think he got a little. I think you might have been a little confused there, but it's actually her art that I had sent you photos of that she had drawn. So
Oh,
you're excited about her art rather than my own art, just to make that clear to you.
oops! It sounded like it was from your phone when I saw it.
Yeah, yeah. It's an artist. She's on True Social, and I'm sure she's on other platforms as well. So yeah, well, I'll have to get you back on there and help you find more of her art because it seems like you like her stuff. Did you want to talk about dragons some in this podcast? We got another 5 minutes to talk.
Actually, and one thing I wanted to talk to you about, the first dragon I drew came up pretty good. You're already going to start using that for business cards, so it looks like. But
Yep.
what other kind of mystical creatures do you think that I should look up and try to draw, but yet like make it a completely different?
Yeah. Okay. So
What do you think I should try to draw?
yeah, I
For a
got you.
business?
Damn, I wish something came to my head right away when you asked that question of what mythical creature other than a dragon. Let me think of
Because
mythical.
you saw my Mothman picture, that one from New Jersey, Lost States. Super scary, man.
What kind of first comes to my mind when I think of dragons is, well, a multitude of things. When I think of dragons, so I used to play this game called RuneScape a lot, and that's kind of what I played for a while.
I played that back in the day. That was awesome.
Yeah, and there were dragons in the game and I kind of thought those dragons were so cool. I had a character where I had to go and kill these dragons in the game, and that was kind of my first experience with dragons. Through RuneScape. So I would love to see some inspired art from there if you like that game too. But I was thinking of that game, and I was also thinking of as well. I was also thinking of like Lord of the Rings dragons. There's the dragons that fly in Lord of the Rings. You know
I
the,
tried playing it, but never worked on my computer, sadly.
what Lord of the Rings?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, I'm talking about the movies. Have you seen the movies?
Oh yeah, I've seen all the movies, but
Cool.
I remember I bought the game, my old Dell computer, when I was like 10 or something. Never worked on it. I'm like,
Gotcha.
son of a gun, that doesn't waste some money.
Got you. Yes. So I'm thinking of the Lord of the Rings dragons because there's the dragons in them. They're kind of like the enemy side is the dragons, and on the good side, the light, the side of the light. There's the light side and the darkness side, depending on who you are and how you see things. But so there's the light side, which has kind of like these giant eagles, which in my view, the eagles are the good guys, and they're like and the eagles also kind of are like we already as Americans kind of view eagles as this like because the bald eagle is America's basically it's our logo is the bald eagle to some extent is our logo in America, and that's what represents our country is the bald eagle. So seeing the bald eagles as the good guys only makes sense in Lord of the Rings, and the dragons in Lord of the Rings were completely crazy. But you were asking originally what mythical creature other than dragons would I ask you to draw, and I'm thinking still on that question, and I would have to say the first thing that pops to my mind would be mermaids. Just popped to my mind. What do you think about mermaids? Like but it also could be like mermaids, mermaid women, mermaid men. That's a weird. That's weird. That's just what popped to my mind. What do you think about mermaids?
That actually, that's actually pretty cool.
What?
I never thought of that actually. I don't even know how they would customize that because like there's so many pictures of them.
You know what it was? I think that what brought me to the mermaids was I was thinking about dragons, and I was thinking about how a lot of the mermaids that I've seen in visuals on movies, on TV shows, on cartoons growing up, a lot of them had like in the visuals of how they decided to draw mermaids were that there was like the body and the face was human, and then the tail, then the legs and the tail was basically like the legs would combine together into like a format of like a dragon tail kind of. It's kind of similar. It's similar to dragons in some extent. What I'm thinking of with mermaids is like how they're built. So that's kind of what inspired me to mention mermaids to you. There. What do you think? Can you draw a mermaid for us? That's my
Easily. I can draw a mermaid.
I wonder what kind of mermaid you're gonna draw. If it's gonna be like the ones I've seen in growing up with TV shows and with movies, or if it's gonna be a completely and also it could be completely different, and you could just create a brand new type of mermaid that we've never seen before. You could do something completely creative. Who
Maybe I'll
knows?
turn you into a mermaid.
Oh, well, I want to be a merman. I don't want to be a mermaid. I want to be a merman.
Oh, a
Please.
merman.
Yeah.
Turn you
Just to
into a
make that
merman.
clear. Make that clear. I'm all about being the merman. I'm not into that. I'm personally a I don't know what the right word is. There's people who are transsexual in this world. That's different than what I am. I am completely man. I was born with a dick. I'm a man. I just it's just like it's a whole crazy thought thinking about the transsexual thing and what's going on in their minds. But what are you thinking right now? We have like we were already over the 15 minutes. Do you want to talk another 5 minutes? I think we could do it if you want to talk. I've been talking this whole podcast because I have my business. This is our 10th podcast together, and that's a big milestone for us. And we're talking about summing up everything.
All right, here's one for you. Here's our last question of the day. 3 of your top favorite music bands.
3 of my top favorite music bands. I'll tell you number 1, it right at the moment is this one called, well, you're saying bands, can I just say my top favorite artist of music creation?
Like Avenged Sevenfold,
like
Disturbed.
For example, I like to listen to DJ music. Can I name off DJ artists, or is this more of just like a band thing where it's like live music artists?
I think you can say that.
Cool. So my favorite artist at the moment is called Ellen Alien, and she goes by ELLE. I could be wrong on this. I hope I'm right. ELLENALLIEN is her name and her brand and her who she is, and she's a DJ, and she creates like DJ like boom 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 music, and I just enjoy it because she's also all about aliens, which has excited me for a while. And she's, I'm about aliens, so it's like I connect with her music. She has a logo that's an alien as well. It kind of reminds me of this business that I'm building, and she's my favorite. Number 1 person that I listen to at the moment is Ellen Alien Music. She puts out music very inconsistently, which is the downfall, because I wish she put out more music on a consistent basis. So she's number 1 at the moment for me. Number 2 and 3, I'm having a harder time with number 2 and 3 than I had with number 1. But 2 and 3, for number 2, I'm going to actually throw out this guy who goes by Knox. He's a hip hop artist, and he's from Chester, Pennsylvania. And he has this one, I just consistently listen to his one song over and over again. He's very unheard of. There's very few people that know about this guy. He goes by something or other Knox, and I wish I could say more about his name. Something Knox. Let me see if I can just find that. It should only take me a second. I'm on this page here. Give me 1 second. His name is on YouTube. You can find him as Young Knox. YUNGNOX. He's a hip hop artist, and I don't know him. I've never met him. He only has about like 200 views per video, which is very few, but he has this one song called CEO, and that kind of pumps me up. I'm a business builder myself. I like to build businesses, and I'm building this new business called Visitor 751, and that's my business.
I already know about it now.
And he just hypes me up when I listen to his music called CEO. It's like I feel like I'm a CEO, even though it's like this is just the beginning. Everybody who's a part of our journey that's here for Pedal to the Metal podcast and is here for pedaltothemetal.io and is here for visitor751.com. Every single one of you listening right now is super early to what we have going on in general. This is the very beginning So everybody that's here, like this artist is also at the, I kind of hope this artist, I hope from listening to his music, it seems like he's kind of in this zone where he's kind of at this moment of where he has to make these decisions in his own life, whether he wants to go for the good or the bad. And his music is motivating to myself. So I hope he becomes that person that he is in his music video called CEO, Young Knox. Check him out. That's number 2, my second artist. And number 3, you asked for my top 3. And that's just at the moment. This is all just at the moment stuff. Ellen Alien, I've been listening to her for a few years, so she's very seriously one of my favorite artists. Young Knox, I've been listening to him only a couple months, so he's a little bit lesser of my, but I would put him in a close second right now because I listen to like just his songs over and over again. And then the third artist is the tough one that I'm struggling with to give you, and that would have to be, off the top of my head, would have to be, I'm gonna go with a local artist here called Michael Nappy. Mike Nappy. He's another artist that's inspired myself in Chester County, Pennsylvania, and he's also a hip hop artist. Interestingly enough, I listen to multiple music. I listen to classical music. I listen to hardcore punk music. I listen to like
that one actually sounds really familiar.
So this guy Mike Nappy.
I know it.
So his name is Mike Nappy. He creates hip hop music and he creates music videos. He's done Mike Nappy, and he's done stuff with he's created music videos with Bam Margera here in Chester County. And I've gotten to know him somewhat personally through going to open mics and seeing him live at open mics as he was progressing through his music career to where he's at today, which is like way beyond where he was back in 2015, 16, 17 when I met him. He's got this music video out, which also has to do with aliens. He's got it, so which is crazy, but to mention just him and his name is cool. I think is somebody who wants to promote local artists and Chester County local artists being Mike Nappy. I wanted to represent his name, and he goes by Nappy Music. You can find him on YouTube in multiple places. I think that just sharing his name is a good name to share as well on this podcast. I know you will like yourself, American Mac. You like Jackass movies. Mike Mike Nappy's done stuff with Bam Margera. He created music videos with Bam, so I know you're gonna kind of be into that. I myself, I've met Bam. I've went up to him. I've met him at live shows. I've gone to live shows where Bam enjoys Mike Nappy stuff, so he would come out to Mike Nappy shows and he would be there, and I'd go up to him. I've gone up to Bam and I've said hello and I've introduced myself and said hello, and he seemed friendly at the time. Some people say he's an asshole. Some people say he's an asshole, but I don't care what people say about him. When I met him, he was friendly to me. He said hello. I met him at Mike Nappy Music live show, and so that's what I have to say. This podcast is 10 minutes over. Do you want to say anything else before we end this?
I'll just say my favorite bands. That's Blink-182, Linkin Park, and I can't decide on the two, either Disturbed or Invincible Sevenfold, but probably Disturbed.
Oh, I like your first one, Blink-182. I was super into them for a long time. That was one of my favorite bands. It's actually one of the first bands that I actually got seriously into. I remember in middle school, I was hanging out with a guy, and I remember his name without mentioning it. And I'll say his first name. His name was Alex without mentioning his last name. So I met this guy, Alex, and he was somebody who was friendly with me, and we were kind of cool with each other. And he introduced me to this CD that he had in his locker. This is back when I was in middle school, and CDs were the thing back then. We didn't have internet with music on it to listen to. We had CDs back in the day, and that's what we had. And he introduced.
I remember rocking with one of those portable CD players and headphones.
Me too, man.
I remember those days.
Yeah, I was walking around with the headphones on and a CD player in my pocket. I remember them too, man. And what we're talking about is history to some of our audience that's listening, because some of our audience that's listening probably is of the age where they grew up on technology and they never got to experience the awesome experience of old school stuff. And the old school stuff is really awesome, man. It's the shit. Like old school is where it's at. That's where it's just like
I miss
memories to
old
us.
school.
We're the '90s. We're the '90s childs, right? I mean, you're '90s. I'm '90s. I'm assuming we're
Yep.
'90s child here. So we have a certain genre of things that touch our hearts in a different way than these people who are listening to our podcast and are just listening to this freely. They just click a button and they're listening to our podcast. Whereas back in the day, if they wanted to listen to our podcast, we would have had to have found them in person and handed them one of our CDs and said, "This CD has our podcast on it. Can you listen to it for us?" Now we just hit post and it's on the internet and a million people can listen to it. And there's a million other podcasts out there. It's not just like one podcast. There's a million other podcasts, and our podcast is the best podcast because I'm here with American Mech, and American Mech makes the best damn fucking tacos in the world. He's also going to be starting his hot sauce stuff coming up soon. Some super hot sauce. I'm looking forward to seeing
Yeah,
what
I'm
he does
actually
with
gonna
that.
pick all that shit up
Yep,
tomorrow
yep.
and see if our buddy's in tomorrow at work, and he said he would show me how to make everything. So I'm pumped.
Yeah, that's what our podcast is all about. To sum it up, basically, Mex into Mex kind of topics so far have the topics that we've kind of tried to surround things around, and what we think is that I'm the on-demand. Currently, I talk about on-demand printing has been my topic so far. I might add another topic to myself. Mex got 3 or 4 different topics going for him, or 5 or 6. He's got all these different topics going for him. I've kind of gotten stuck to one, so I'm gonna have to add some more to myself. But he's got comic books, he's got a food truck, he's got tacos, he's got hot sauce, he's got something with catching crazy animals out there, possibly all kinds of crazy shits. And you wanna say some words and close us out here? We're way over, man. I got excited for this one. This is our 10th
I'm
pod.
ready to close out.
Yep, 10th podcast, man. This is our 10th one. This is the big one. So close us out with a good closing and say some stuff.
All right, I'm ready.
Go for it, man.
So ladies and gentlemen, you know how we always do. We pedal in metal super hard. We always like to give our broadcast a bunch of cool shit to listen to. And you know what? We all love you guys. We all hope you have a great night. And we'll figure out what our next topic is for the next one. And we all appreciate you. Y'all have a great night. Sayonara, everybody.